Humans have been on an expedition for decades to discover what planet Mars has in store for humanity. In this video, we're going to dive into a small test object and its great discoveries, which landed along with the Mars rover Perseverance. Yes, the Ingenuity. A mini revolutionary helicopter that became one of the greatest successes of Mars exploration. So, without further ado, let's begin. The Ingenuity and its mission. The Ingenuity, fondly known as Ginny, is a small robotic helicopter that operates on Mars as part of NASA's Mars 2020 mission, along with the Perseverance rover, which landed with Ingenuity on February 18, 2021. It was on April 3, 2021 when the helicopter was deployed to the surface. The Ingenuity was just supposed to execute a few test flights, but it unintentionally became one of the major victories in terms of the explorations of Mars. The fact was that it has also elevated the exploration of other planets in the solar system. The Perseverance rover was launched with the clear intention of finding traces of water on the red planet, Mars. What they aim is not only to find existing water deposits, but also to investigate traces of rock formations. These rock formations further indicate former water courses or water deposits such as lakes, springs, or oceans. According to recent findings, scientists believe that there must have been large quantities of water on Mars, which might have retreated underground as a consequence of the evaporation of the Martian atmosphere. The rover would collect rocks along with its search for water and send samples back to Earth. That is indeed a mission of the future we all have been awaiting. The design. The Ingenuity was indeed an object of mystery, as researchers on Earth were keen to know if a man-made flying object could fly on Mars. You might feel that this is strange, but the aeronautical conditions on Mars are extremely different when compared to those on Earth. The terrestrial helicopter design on Earth is indeed not suitable for Mars due to its thin atmosphere and low gravity. The question used to be whether Ingenuity could fly, but then the question evolved to how fast Ingenuity could fly. Ingenuity weighs only about 5 pounds, and its rapid rotor blades can rotate at 2,400 revolutions per second. This Martian helicopter rotates 10 times faster than any terrestrial helicopter. This helicopter astonished its designers and made its mark in the era of Mars exploration. No one had expected the construction of the helicopter to be so durable. Right after the helicopter's first successful flights, its value became quite evident, as it had a much wider range when compared to that of Perseverance. You might be amazed to know that the helicopter was successful in locating the best spots in the crater, which, as a matter of fact, would have taken days or even weeks to reach if attempted by the Perseverance. Ingenuity not only provides imagery from an aerial perspective, but allows our team to be 2 places at once on Mars, said Ken Farley of Caltech, Perseverance project scientist. He also added, sending the rover to survey and prospect in one location while launching the helicopter to survey another hundreds of meters away is a great time saver. It can also help us explore areas the rover will never visit, as in this case. You will have to admit that Ingenuity is indeed an asset for the Mars Exploration Unit, don't you think so? The ancient water channel and the hurdles. The Ingenuity had found clues that pointed to an ancient water channel, which indeed sounds mystifying, don't you think so? Many believe that these formations are the remains of something that might have been filled with water. In July 2021, the Ingenuity was on its 5th flight, and it had discovered more evidence of rock formations. These could provide information about Mars' untold past. In the summer of 2021, something alarming occurred. There were major problems that arose with its sensor and its remote control. The entire world thought that mission was bound to fail, but this helicopter did not give up on our hopes and lived up to its name by overcoming all the problems. The flight altitude of this helicopter is 33 feet, and it has indeed evolved into the permanent companion and explorer of Mars, unless something with a bit more vigour enters the battlefield. NASA also aims at building combinations of helicopters and ultralight robots that can take rock or material samples. This form of exploration can also be used as an application on other planets and moons like Titan and Enceladus. The ridge line. Don't you want to know what else this helicopter discovered? Well, the Ingenuity Mars helicopter recently surveyed a ridge line near the ancient river delta in Jezero crater. The images of it were captured on April 23rd during the helicopter's 27th flight, and they were taken following the request of the Perseverance Mars rover science team, who wanted a detailed look at the sloping outcrop. A lost civilization. Have you ever imagined the traces of a lost civilization or of larger creatures such as animals appearing on the surface of Mars? As NASA researchers analysed images and data sent by both Perseverance and Ingenuity, an object appeared on the rover image which shocked everyone. This mystery structure stood out completely from all other structures which have ever been witnessed on the surface of Mars. This structure resembles either a piece of rope, an old fishing line, or a coral-like creature from the sea. None of these objects have ever been known to exist on the surface of Mars. Aren't you curious to know what the climax was? The researchers on Earth finally agreed that this image shows a piece of rope that came from the parachutes used to set the rover Perseverance down. This was indeed a sensation. A similar incident happened when the Mars rover Curiosity captured the curious image of an object that resembled a bone. There were a plethora of speculations that led to a chance of life on Mars, until scientists confirmed that it was a rock. A number of terrestrial astronomers insist that there can be traces of microbes or other living organisms on Mars, and there are calculations that give us the conclusion that millions of years ago Mars was a water world with a similar atmosphere to that of Earth. If these theories are proven to be right, then there is no doubt that there could have been vegetation and larger living organisms on Mars. The future and advancing technologies. We can expect a multitude of surprising discoveries from Ingenuity in the near future, but the question is, how long will Perseverance and Ingenuity be on Mars together? Since the helicopter has now exceeded all the requirements placed on it, the scientists are indeed delighted with each flight. The new software installed will be of great help when it comes to making necessary navigation corrections when the ground in front of it rises. This will also help it with another issue, which is regarding the hazardous rocks on the ground at the moment of its landing. Hovered Grip, the chief pilot, said, "But it's harder to correlate orbital imagery to small rocks on the ground in the hills. That's where this other feature comes in, where, right before landing, Ingenuity itself can take a look at the ground and figure out where the rocks are and avoid them." You might be surprised to know what he said next. Up until this point, Ingenuity has always lived in the belief that Mars is completely flat, like a pancake. Isn't that astounding? All of Ginny's flights are recorded by the chief pilot, and now it's full. He added, "We were only ever going to fly 5 times. We thought, well, a book with only 5 pages is just gonna look too silly. And so we put a bunch of extra pages in there, just so it would look more like a real book. But guess what? We are out of pages." Ingenuity has made its 36th flight, and coincidentally, that flight also marked the threshold for Ingenuity having spent a full hour in the skies of Mars. This helicopter has been revolutionizing the Mars exploration program, and trust me, they have just begun their journey. The Ingenuity has opened our eyes to the Martian world and will continue leading us to the nooks and crannies of Mars. Life on Mars is not just a dream, it is now a need for the dwindling Earth and the human race. What do you think about this helicopter? Do you believe that this will guide us through Mars and help us build a colony? Thanks for watching, and we will meet again in another video. Until then, goodbye fellas.